It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Jeff and Gina join me. We'll talk about Tim Cook's talk on all things D last night. Spoiler alert, nothing was said at all. Using glass for porn. And the Hitler teapot. Was this planned? It's all coming up next on Twig.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twig.
Bandwidth for This Week in Google is provided by Cachefly. CACHEFLY.com. This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 200, recorded May 29th, 2013. My Pictures of Hair. This Week in Google is brought to you by 99 Designs, the world's largest online graphics design marketplace. 99 Designs connects businesses seeking quality, affordable designs with a community of over 200,000 graphic designers. Visit 99designs.com/twig to receive a free design consultation. That's 99designs.com/twig. It's time for Twig This Week in Google. And here to talk about Google, the cloud, and everything is Gina Trapani. Welcome back. Feeling better, I hope.
She's back.
Yay.
Thank you. Yeah, feeling much, much better. I missed you guys last week. I listened to the show and was talking to myself.
She's talking like this because she has a cold, but she's, oh, Jeff, you're wrong.
That was great.
Is Etta feeling better too?
Yeah, Etta did not catch it.
Oh,
Miraculously, I prepared myself for the baby to get sick, and somehow she did. Between me and the sitter being sick, she didn't catch it. So I credit her super baby immune system.
Awesome.
She hasn't been sick yet, but I'm feeling much better. Glad to be back.
Knock on wood.
Also here, Jeff Jarvis, professor of journalism at the City University of New York, and off-time Howard Stern. You've been on Stern every week now for the last 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, 2 weeks, yes. I called in yesterday. Katie Couric was there. Howard starts to explain to Katie, and she says, oh, I know, Jeff. It was my ego moment.
Oh, my God.
Nice, Jeff.
Oh, my God, and I know him. So one degree of separation from Katie Couric. Squee.
Yeah, I was pleased with that. I was pleased.
So you called in to say, hi, Katie. Hi, Howard.
I called in because Howard has been doing phenomenal interviews. It was a great interview with Katie, too. And so my theory, I use this as the excuse to have Katie give Howard career advice.
Oh, that's good.
Howard, I swear he denies this, but I think what he's doing he's doing amazing, really deep hour-and-a-half interviews that go like no other interviews you've ever imagined. Gina mentioned Louis C.K. There's a long list of them. And so my theory was that he's doing that. And he interrupted me. He says, "No, I'm not auditioning for anything. I had the chance a few years ago. ABC was gonna give me Barbara Walters' quarterly interview show, and I insisted on being part of the news department. And the ABC guy said, not over my dead body."
Yeah, really, no kidding. That long-haired freak. Times have changed a little bit, but I don't think Howard should get involved with mainstream. Absolutely.
Well, he's on America's Got Talent. He's proven that he
That's
can be
true.
beloved.
He's good on that, actually.
People still hate me, but he's really shown he's mainstream now.
And I haven't heard his long-form interviews, so
phenomenal.
The Louis interview really kind of blew me away. I never really liked Howard. I think I'm stuck back in a time when he was just the shock jock that made girls kiss one another in his studio, which I thought was just like gross.
Right.
And it creeped me out. Like he just strikes me as just like this creepy guy. But I watched the Louis interview, and without intending to watch the entire thing, I was like, oh, I just want to hear Louis, and I was amazed by what a great interviewer. I mean, he asked questions that I was just like, wow. And Louis was obviously very comfortable and very forthcoming. It was really great. I enjoyed it a lot.
I would guess Louis C.K. is a good person to interview because he is kind of let it all hang out.
But even Mike
what does
Tyson,
Howard do that makes him so good? What does he do?
Well, I asked Katie that. I asked my Goomba Katie that, and she said that he asks unusual questions. He doesn't ask you the same questions you could ask all the time. And
that's actually good because a lot of the people, and I found this when I was in radio, a lot of the people you're interviewing are coming off 20 straight interviews with the same question.
Exactly. So he's asking, yes, he's going to sneak in. You know he's going to sneak in the question about your sex life or whatever.
Yeah.
But he also cares about you. It's well-researched.
Right.
And he's done an hour and a half with some people. That's a really long interview. No breaks, nothing. And somebody's comfortable the whole time. Katie also said it's about radio. She said, if there were cameras on me right now, I'd probably be different.
That's very true.
So there were cameras on me.
Radio is a wonderful medium for really long, in-depth interviews, and the best interview shows are all on radio. Except, well, maybe Charlie Rose would be the exception, and maybe.
Yeah, but even then, Charlie talks a lot.
He talks too much.
Charlie
he inserts himself too much, and I'm surprised to hear Howard doesn't.
I mean,
no,
at
because
one
he
point he was
wants
asking,
to pull things out of people.
Right.
Yeah. He went into Louis being a really dedicated father and started asking about Louis's father and like really got in depth about Louis's relationship with his father to the point where Louis at one point was like, "Wow, I haven't really thought about this because I haven't talked about him this much in years." Really kind of getting down to it.
Yeah, Howard will psychoanalyze people.
Yes, absolutely. Like,
but my line
your
about
father
Howard
abandon
is
him?
that he's exactly. So Howard's had enough therapy. He's an amateur therapist. My line about him is that he's greater than the sum of his farts. That you think he's nothing but fart jokes.
Bring on the coin bank. We got a farting coin bank over here. No, the challenge with being a good interviewer, especially if it's your show and you're a superstar like Howard Stern, he's a bigger star in many cases than the people he's interviewing. The challenge is to get out of the way.
But that's why it's important. He's curious about you. You're right. He's very curious about the people, and he draws that out. And he draws out things that everybody's curious about, but not obvious. He's quite amazing. I learned about Howard. I first became a fan. I saw the same thing you did, Gina. He farts. That's it. Boom. And one quiet summer, I was going to review his TV show for TV Guide, and so I said, I should listen to a radio show for a week, and when it was on a full week. And my epiphany was that he's better taken in big doses than small. In a small dose, you get the fart joke. You get the lesbian kiss, which is fine, is what it is. Lesbian kisses are a wonderful thing, right? But when you take them in large doses, you see that...
Yeah. Kiss for me.
Well,
kiss for me.
But they've got more... The people on the show have more problems than that. But what you get is a charming guy, intelligent, quick. Then you also get this drama of the show. It's like Dilbert brought to life. It's every screwed up office.
Yeah.
I was about to use a bad word.
I admire Howard because of his realness and authenticity. And when he started doing radio, it was not known for that. And he really was the first, I think, to be very genuine and real and talk about real stuff on the radio. It was awfully scatological. It felt for me like you're listening to a kid who still likes fart jokes, who's a teenager. And so I wasn't really crazy about his sense of humor, but I did admire his authenticity and the fact that he was willing to talk about real stuff on the radio.
And now I think you would also admire his skill, his craft.
Yeah, well, I'll have to listen to him.
Which is your craft. Right?
Interviewing is so hard, and it's so it is actually something I love.
I mean, you do it on Triangulation every week.
Yeah, I really love doing it. I've done more than 5,000 interviews in my career. Many more, actually. I think it's probably more like 8,000 or 9,000 now. And I'm still working at it. It's hard. So I like to listen to people who are good at it and see what they're doing. Hey, let's talk a little bit about, since we're talking about interviews, Kara Swisher, Walt Mossberg last night interviewed Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. I was stunned to see all the gadget blogs live blogged this. Like this is going to be breaking news. This is not a keynote. And as far as I can tell, there wasn't anything particularly revelatory about Tim Cook last night. Oh. Did you guys hear anything you thought was worth paying attention to? It's a CEO. He's not going to say anything on somebody else's stage.
Yeah.
He did imply that he said Google Glass is not mainstream, but we're very interested in this space.
Right, in wearable technology. There's a lot of opportunity. Google Glass, isn't it? Nothing interesting there. He said that the Fuel Band is cool. He wears one. Of course, Apple and Nike have a partnership, so that wasn't unexpected.
He wasn't wearing one as far as I could tell on the stage, but maybe I missed it. Yeah,
I guess he just said that he wears one.
That's a wristwatch, dude.
I've started wearing a watch again. Yeah, I've started wearing a watch again. Yeah,
I wear them we talked about this on Mac Break Weekly yesterday. I wear them as jewelry. But I don't know if it's a very good I think, frankly, the Google Glass is a better form factor if what you're looking at is wearables, much better than a wristwatch.
Yeah.
For one thing, you can hear it. You can talk to it without doing anything. A wristwatch, what are you going to put it up to your ear? For another thing, you can read it without doing anything. I mean, if it's raising my hand, I got the phone. I've got a better screen on the phone. I'm really not sure why a wristwatch would be such a great form factor. I'd like to see what Apple has in its.
What if it buzzed?
Well, I have a Pebble watch which buzzes, and that's
that you can feel versus
yeah.
here,
But so
right?
I could feel my phone buzz too.
Yeah.
The Pebble watch, you can look and you can see who's calling without taking your phone out. You can look at a text message and read it. You can't respond to it, but you can at least read it. Calendar, notifications, things like that. I guess it's nice to be able to do that. I think glass is going to be as good. The question is glass...
do you really want?
Well, one of the problems with the Pebble, and it would be a challenge to solve this on any device with a screen that small, is how do you stack notifications? On the Pebble, you only see the most recent one. On the glass, at least you can do this. You can scroll through them.
Well, and then they stack on glass, like you can flip through them vertically as well. Like if there's more than one. If there's, say, more than one New York Times headline, you can flip through them. It's got that little corner, that little white corner. That's how you know they're stacked. And then also, of course, you can flip through the horizontal.
Do you wear your glass still?
Not as much as I should. It's one of those things where I'm like, oh, I should have, like, I'll be out and I'll be like, oh, I should have put on glass before I did.
You
but
forget
it's like,
to wear your glass.
Is it charged? Like, is my, do I have enough battery on my phone? It's one of those things where I've just like, I'm lucky if I get the baby's, diaper bag packed. So for me, it's just, it's one of those things where I've been meaning to wear it more. I haven't been wearing it as much, but I think it's just because life has been busy and it does drain my battery on my phone, which it has stuck me, in places where I don't have any phone battery, which is not a good thing. So I think I just need to get an extra battery and just get more into the habit of putting them on. Like I have to remember to put them on.
Right. I think, I would disagree. I wouldn't disagree that glass isn't mainstream yet, but I would disagree that there are better form factors. I think glass is probably the right form factor, actually.
Mm-hmm. So I actually went to my ophthalmologist, and for the first time in my life, asked about contacts. I can't stand the idea. I've never done it. And now I'm
for glass.
Oh, for glass.
Yes.
So have you gotten? Do you know when you're going to pick yours up, Jeff? Have you picked yours up?
No, as always, what do I have to do? Write a kiss-ass book? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think that if I had glass, folks have gotten them yet.
No, I think they're almost done giving out the 2000, right? And then, yeah. Well, anyway, anything else Tim said that we'll find out on June 10th. That's when Apple's WWDC hit San Francisco. Tim Cook in fact, we're going to cover that live as we usually do at 10 a.m.
What's the minimum that's going to come out then? Is it a new iPhone?
The minimum is iOS 7.
Okay.
The minimum is no hardware at all. It's almost certain that they'll have new MacBook Airs based on an Intel Haswell chipset.
Right. Here's my question about phones. And I can't. I wrote a post this week when I said ignore everything that says it's the death of or the last or the whatever. But I wonder how many advances there are in phones. Right? There'll be more sensors. There'll be better screens, better cameras, this and that. But have we arrived? Pretty much well,
Apple's arrived because Apple's, I think, painted itself into a little bit of a corner because of their insistence that they control everything and that it all come through Apple. I think that's one of the beauties of Android and one of Google's advantages with open source is you've got an infinite number of monkeys typing on it. And
we haven't really seen, except from having, Note 2, pretty much, because I'm having gadget lust, right? I want to buy the next gadget, and do I go buy the Samsung Galaxy S4 that's going to be with pure Android? And I think, well, no, I pretty much got it here. The HTC. Yeah,
you have here is a Nexus 4, right? Yeah,
Nexus 4, right? And so I'm dying to kind of get the next thing, and I don't know that there is. And the truth is, this Nexus 4 isn't that much better than my Galaxy Nexus was. So I already did that once. I haven't seen anything that really moves the form, and I'm not sure that what I would do to move the form.
I think you would like the HTC One. I think there's some things about it that are preferable to the Nexus 4. I mean, since you already don't have a removable battery, it won't be that won't be a disadvantage. It does LTE, which I think you'd like.
If you could get that with pure Android, as is rumored, and the Nexus...
I don't know if... Now, this is an interesting question, because I am not necessarily a pure Android fetishist. I think that's a fetish.
Right, but you didn't like the layer on the HTC.
And as a result, I put CM10 on it, the Cyanogen mod, which is essentially 422 pure. But the camera's not as good. The camera app is designed for this particular camera. There's some customizations HTC makes. And in fact, I think I'm getting better battery life. And so, in other words, HTC knows this hardware more intimately than a generic ROM can, and so I think there's a middle ground where you don't do you don't have all the carrier and manufacturer cruft. AT&T put so much junk on there, and HTC put some cruft on there as well, although much less than some. And then somewhere in between with the UI. Now, see, I am not a fan of, and we talked about this before, Google's no physical buttons. You got to have a menu, all the buttons on the screen UI. I think is a mistake, especially since apps don't seem to be consistent where they put that overflow menu. And so one thing I don't like about the HTC One is it doesn't have a menu button. It has a back and a home button and no menu button.
Yeah.
The Galaxy S4 has a menu button, and I use that all the time. I mean, I know where the menu is because it's always in the same space. And I mean, Gina, you're a developer. I think you liked the new UI, the 4.2 UI, right? You liked
the action bar, which is like, so you define the number of buttons that you need on the action bar, and then depending on the screen size, the Android layout manager collapses them into that ... that drop down menu, and that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I like that as a developer because it makes me go it makes me think about what are the most important buttons, and I know that the action bar is going to be filled in appropriately given the right screen size or the right orientation of the device. So it appeals to me as a developer, but I do understand as a user if you're not using standard Android design, not just hollow but the action bar kind of design. I mean, there are lots of apps like games and things which are full screen, for example, that don't necessarily use that action bar, where it can be confusing, where you're like, where's the button?
Right.
So I get that. I totally get that.
I'm a fan of, and Apple invented this, or at least was the first I knew of to do it, what they called it monotonous design. There's one way to do it. Your brain learns that way. It's always that way. Buttons don't move around. Menu items don't move around. And it's still somewhat true on the Macintosh. It's, that's one of the reasons they don't attach a menu to the window. Big difference in Windows and Macintosh. Windows has menus on the window. Each window has its own menu, which makes a lot of sense. But Apple says, no, the menu is always exactly the same spot on the screen.
Right.
And that's because that's where you learn to move that mouse, and it becomes part of your,
But
DNA.
iOS only has that one hard home button, and it's up to the developer to build the buttons,
That's right.
the UI into
and
it.
I think that's a disadvantage.
I mean, when I went from Android to iOS, I was like, how do you go back? Like, I was lost without a back button.
Right.
How do you search? I was also lost without a search. I was used to having a search key everywhere. So it's, I mean, you're so constrained. And I think that Google is just a lot more likely to iterate very quickly over versions. And that's why we've got apps that are designed for gingerbread, that can still that can run on your Jelly Bean device, but that seem completely out of, completely different than the ones that use the new design and the action bar. Although those kind of force the old school menu button kind of on the bottom with the three dot menu. So I hear you. I definitely hear you, Leo. It's not an easy solution.
So I'm not like hankering for. I didn't buy a Nexus 4. I'm not hankering for the new Google Experience Nexus GS4. If, on the other hand, HTC, I hope this rumor is true because I really like the hardware on the one. And actually my pick at the end is going to be all the tools I use to finally get battery life to something closer to a day.
Because you were unhappy.
Yeah, well, I mean, and the GS4, by the way, both of them with heavy, normal, in my way, heavy use, 8 hours, 9 hours. But with a removable battery, that's not a problem. I have literally 3 batteries for my Galaxy S4. But it is a problem for this. I don't want to have to go home after 8 hours. But I have tricked this thing out. I've turned off all sorts of crap. But if HTC One were to make, let's say, kind of a hybrid where you've got the one with 4.2.2, this is only 4.1.2 for one thing, but also with maybe an HTC camera app to bring us Zoe's and stuff. Because this
is the ultra pixel technology. That's software, right? So you lost that when you went to CM10.
Well, you still get a 4-megapixel camera, but you don't get a lot of the.
They could make an app that does that, right? They could just put the app in the App Store and you can put it up there, right?
Put it in the App Store.
They could.
Yeah, whether they will is another matter. So it's
it wouldn't work on any phone except the one.
The one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean you could do that, right? Yeah.
But Zoe's are basically what Google Plus is doing now, right? With multiple photos that are
sort of
similar.
Sort of. So it's interesting now. The Zoe works great with this. What is it? Automatic Anywhere. It's great.
Auto Awesome.
Auto Awesome. That's it.
Auto Awesome.
It's great because what a Zoe is a 3-second movie, and then it takes 20 stills out of the 60 stills or whatever it is that the 3-second movie has. Or, yeah, 60 stills. So you get 20 stills plus a 3-second movie. And then what's great is Auto Awesome looks at those 20, picks the ones it likes, and makes a animated GIF, which is not as smooth as the movie. But now you have a 3-second movie, you have an animated GIF, and you have the stills. And actually, it's kind of nice. Works really well. Plus, the other problem with the Zoe was that it would put 20 images in my Google Plus photo bucket. And because Google Plus didn't know to combine them, the special gallery software on the one says, oh, yeah, that's all one thing. But the Google Plus didn't know that, so it was just overflowing. Now, because it takes the best stuff and puts the rest aside, what it sees as duplicates, it's putting in that, see the rest button. So actually works quite well with Google Plus.
So the Zoe isn't an animated GIF. The Zoe is just the gallery on the camera is showing it that way. So
it's a movie.
Okay. So you don't see the movie anyplace else? It has to be on your phone?
No, it's an MP4. You can upload the movie.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
It makes I think you're confusing it with this highlights film that it makes. So then the next thing it does, and I would love to see this. This is in the gallery app. Is it will make a highlight of your day, and it puts music behind it, and it
really.
Oh, you haven't seen these? These are great.
No.
Oh, it's fun. I guess I could show you one.
Now you're selling me the HTC software.
Well, that's why I don't want to go pure vanilla. Right? So
yeah, we were talking about this on All About Android last night.
Were you?
Yeah, I mean, we're all kind of, pro kind of Nexus experience, pure Google experience. And I mean, for me, I guess it is a little bit of a fetish. We were also talking about how hacking your phone is a little bit of a fetish. That is a little bit of an addiction. We should say we're using the word addiction. How it's always like getting the latest ROM and get the
There's a
latest
name
version.
for that. What is I just read the name for people who update every day. Yeah.
Crack romming.
ROM cracking or something. Crack romming.
Crack jacking.
Yeah.
I forget what it is.
And I am that. Once I put Clockwork Mod, ROM Manager on there. Crack Flasher.
Thank you, Chad.
That was from Jason.
Yeah. And it's a real term apparently. But once you put Clockwork Mod on there, every day you check for the new CM10 and you put it on there. Every day I have a new new firmware. It's crazy. So this is the highlight that Zoe makes, and I have it in the French thing. So put it up here. So it makes a black and white movie automatically out of all the pictures I took that day. Some of them moving, some of them pan and scan, But let's say, I don't like that. Let's change the theme to something a little more jazzy. How about Vega? Same day, same pictures. Much more jazzy. That's automatic. I'm not doing anything.
Wow.
I think, Jeff, you should look at the HTC One. If the battery life, that's the real key on this.
The other thing about this is when I told one of my students, I've mentioned this before, as a business to enable people with beginning the early stages of dementia to use wearable cameras to kind of recapture parts of their day.
Oh, get ready, because I bought a Memoto.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Oh, you did?
So remember Gordon Bell, who started
private around you.
Nothing private. Forget the glass. I got something better. So Gordon Bell was the first to do this. He wore a camera looked much like this. He was one of the, I don't know if he was a founder at Digital Equipment, but he's certainly one of the big honchos there. Later founded the Computer History Museum in the Bay Area. He wrote a book about this. Well, a Swedish company's making them, and I ordered one. It's not out yet, but every 30 seconds it takes a picture. It clips onto your lapel, it geotags it, and it uploads it to their server.
Have you seen the whale hunt, Leo? Jonathan
No.
Harris. We talked about this before.
No. We did talk
about
about this before. Yeah.
He took a picture every 5 minutes of a whale hunt.
Yeah.
And he just did his new project. I think it's something like called Love Your Work or whatever, where he was with. So the whale hunt first is he took a picture at least every 5 minutes while he was on this trip with the whale hunt. And you can see the colors and you can see the biorhythm of the photos. When he takes more photos than once every 5 minutes, something's happening. Guess what? They got a whale. So that's one form he did. And then he just he has a new one now where he was with lesbian porn makers. This is a theme today, Howard Stern moment. But making a serious film where he every I think 5 minutes, it was 10 seconds of video. And sometimes they'd be aware of them and talk to the camera and part of the story. Sometimes they're just doing what they're doing, getting makeup or whatever. And it becomes a narrative and a story. It's absolutely fascinating. So this idea of this constant flow of photos can be turned into a narrative. And Jonathan's proved that.
I never wanted to bring this up in the show because I don't want to necessarily encourage this, but one of the conversations around glass is that it's one of its biggest uses would be in porn,
No.
which we talked about a little bit, like first-person porn. But particularly like lesbian porn, because you really kind of get a view in those like hard to reach places. So
you said it, Gina. We didn't.
I forget. I held back. I hadn't said it wrong. I'm saying
All right,
it
so
now.
this is the adult portion of the show. Kids, turn out the TV.
Sorry. No, we don't have to.
But that's what's wrong with porn. No. Real porn is not about real sex because you have to have the camera get into these various positions. And so performers are acting in a very abnormal way. And I feel bad for my kids because I think a lot of kids of their generation, they think sex involves a leg in the air, another leg on a couch. But that's the exigencies of getting video of it.
This is like one of the
But real lovemaking, you're balled up together.
Yeah.
There's nothing to see. So maybe Google Glass would be good, but I think all you would see is like somebody's forehead.
Yeah.
Squished up against the glass. I don't know if that's going to be sexy.
I just think it's funny that wearable computing is like, of course, any sort of new technology, porn, but particularly in
There's
particular
plenty of
porn
ways to make first-person porn. We don't need glass for that. I'm going to take a stand.
Well, there's a story on the rundown today, which is actually kind of silly because it tried to imagine somebody making porn to watch on glass. And no, you've got that all wrong.
That's really bad.
Isn't that stupid?
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
You can really look creepy then. But I don't know. I'll bet you there will be clever filmmakers who will find a way that makes the point of view interesting. Yeah, this is
well, okay, I hesitate to speak too much on this subject. I don't want to come off as like a porn expert. But this is already a kind of porn.
We're safe.
There is a kind of porn called point of view porn where one of the performers, usually the male, is holding the camera. And it's as if it's you, right? And a camera works perfectly well. You don't need to have glasses. In fact, the camera might work better.
Not that I want to be expert either, Leo, but this is going to be the my girlfriend motif.
Maybe
of amateur.
Well, I hope, and this now raises the whole privacy issue because.
Well, I'm sorry. No, wait. We're stupping, and you got the stupid glass on, as if I had.
Well, okay, so
all passion.
People are going to have to
know you're not recording.
People are going to have to stop stupping with glass on. This is not going to work.
Stup with glass on.
This is stupid.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the application for glass, but I do think we've just chased the one woman in the audience completely out of the audience. she's running as fast as she can. Oh no, there's another one. Oh, thank God, there's two girls here. Holy cow!
You called them girls, and now she's leaving too.
Yeah, she's gone too. So we're really pretty much it's a bunch of guys.
Mentioned it with the thing, and so I had to bring it up with class because it was one of the first stories I got from a friend of mine about class. I was like, oh no,
yeah,
we hadn't discussed it, so I felt like
what? Any new technology, you nailed it. Pardon me, you got it right, Jeff.
Porn applications.
Porn applications, the first thing.
Yeah.
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 Did I mention I'm using a Linux laptop now for the show?
I shouldn't have gone there. I apologize, audience.
No. At least it was you. Normally it would be me. I'm thrilled.
Yeah. That's what's great about this.
It does seem to be. I blame Howard Stern. Let's
we got
it.
We got off on a wrong foot, and it's gone downhill ever since.
On the brain.
Let's take a break.
The foot that's in the air.
Can we take a break? And do an ad, because I know every advertiser wants to be right next to the porn discussion. This is why we didn't like MySpace. Our show today brought to you by 99 Designs. Actually, this is a really great place to go if you have a website, a restaurant, a business, if you need graphics, if you need design. Our beautiful Twit t-shirt was designed by designers at 99 Designs. I am a huge fan. I know you will be too. The idea is 99 Designs puts you in front of a marketplace of over 200,000 talented, great, wonderful designers. And in this marketplace, you say, here's what I need. They submit ideas. You can work directly with them, get a great design, pay very little for it. They're happy, you're happy, everybody's happy. You also get complimentary design consultations with their San Francisco-based design team. There's a 100% money-back guarantee. Look at some of these designs. Gorgeous. Design categories include logo design starting at $299, web design starting at $599. Digital marketing collateral if you need a landing page, a Facebook cover design, a banner ad, an infographic, $199. For print marketing collateral, you know, your restaurant, you need a good-looking menu. Your menu should be as good-looking as your food tastes. Brochures, flyers, labels, greeting cards, $199 and up. Apparel design, like the beautiful T-shirts we were looking at, the one I got for Twit, $199 and up. Hoodies, too. Mobile app design. Yes, app design, $599. You know, a lot of times, I'm sure you'd agree with this, Gino, the people have great coding talent, great ideas, but there's just, design is so important nowadays in apps.
Yeah. And you're not normally born with both of those talents.
Exactly.
I mean, a few rare people, but they're rare.
They're rare. 99 Designs. I want you to check it out. You're going to really, really like it. And we've got a special deal for you if you visit 99designs.com/twig. Today, you can get a $99 power pack of services for free. This gives you more designer time and attention. They'll bold, highlight, and feature your design product in the 99 Designs marketplace, and you'll get nearly twice as many designs as a result. You can also call 800-513-1678. 800-513-1678. 99 Designs. Visit 99designs.com/twig for more information. We thank him so much for supporting This Week in Google. Look, I finally got my Linux laptop working, and can you see that, Chad? Look at that. Isn't that purty?
Nice.
Yeah. 1920 by 1080p. This is one Dell sells pre-configured with Linux. Ubuntu 1204 LTS. Comes with LibreOffice.
So
they have a cheaper one, too,
What was all that you're just doing?
First boot. It was installing stuff, downloading stuff, updating.
Ah, gotcha.
That kind of thing. And I slowed it down because I started making a recovery thumb drive, and that's what really slowed it down. So I stopped that and started over, redid it. Anyway, yeah, I think it's interesting to see. Dell's done this before, I think, but
yeah, they were actually the first one came out of Dell Idea Storm.
Really?
In turn was a reaction to Dell Hell.
Right.
Where people said, we want to do these things. And then the first idea that came out of that, the customer saying, we've been telling you, we just want a Linux machine. The discussion came back and Dell said, yeah, but there's so many flavors, we don't know what to do. The community said, no, we'll tell you what to do. This is the one. Then Dell came back and said, yeah, but there's just too much support. And the community said, we don't need your support. We got support over here.
Right.
And so Dell said, okay. And they made one.
This is an i7, 8 gigs of RAM. It's expensive. It's $1,500 or $1,600. 1920 by 1080 screen, SSD. It's an Ultrabook. In fact, you could tell it's a reconfigured Dell Windows Ultrabook because it has a Windows key.
Oh.
They should have at least given
Dell, could you pry that off, please, and put a penguin on there or something? It's the only thing I would change. I wonder what happens when I press this. Oh, my God, Windows 8! Oh, sorry.
It crashed.
Anyway, this seems to be working nicely, so I think I'll keep using this one for a while. Not a touch screen, unfortunately, but I don't know if Linux does support touch, but probably don't need it for Linux if you're that kind of person. All right, so let me let's talk about some new social offers from Google. Actually, you know what I would like to do instead before we do that? Let's do the changelog. What do you think?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, we give you trumpets.
The Google changelog.
And now Gina Trapani with the latest from Google.
Google Drive for Android updates to version 1.2. Big update. New interface, optical character recognition. Biggest, coolest new feature, you can scan documents and receipts from your Android device direct to Drive, and then you can search for their contents. So this is a great solution if you're kind of person that needs to scan receipts and do expense reports. Really, really great for stuff like that. So you can see in the screenshot there. Yeah, there's a new button in the camera when you launch the camera, or sorry, when you tap the add new item, scan is one of the options. And so you take a picture of your receipt or document and it scans it up to Google Drive. Really nice. And a bunch of UI improvements, a new grid view, new quick preview. You can download a copy of your files to a local device for Honeycomb and Grader. The spreadsheet editor is better. So yeah, really nice Google Drive interface update. If you haven't launched it on Android in a while, do so. Some more Google Drive updates in Gmail. Gmail users will now be able to see Drive documents and calendar events from their Gmail search box. So over the past week, this has been rolling out to U.S. English users, and unfortunately, just not apps users, just vanilla Gmail users. If you type a query into, yeah, I know, boo, indeed. I had to fire up the old.
They got to solve this problem.
I know,
at I.O., I went to a session of Google Plus, and man, everybody in the room just beat them up.
Yeah,
and
for
they
the
said,
apps.
we think this is a lot better than it used to be. And we said, no, it's a huge problem, you guys. Yeah, it's not just you and the dog food. It's everybody who is a power user, and you got to fix this.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating when the other account, and I'm now stuck in the. I had been able to avoid starting a Plus account with my app's address, but I fat fingered something on my Android phone and hit next or whatever, and then it made the account, and now I'm doomed. Like I've gotten all these circle requests for this account that I'm not using. Oh, it's the worst, and people message, oh, it's the worst. I'm having the same problem with Hangouts. I have people hangouting me, chatting me on both addresses when I only want to use one. So yes, this is a problem. This is only for vanilla Gmail accounts, but so you'll see when you start searching in Gmail, you'll get calendar events and Drive documents. Google rolls out Street View imagery for New York into Google Maps, including Central Park and the 9/11 Memorial, and for images of Hurricane Sandy as well. If you go for the Sandy images, if you go to historypin.com/Sandy, Google partnered with HistoryPin, and it's a community photo and video album called for Hurricane Sandy. It's called Hurricane Sandy: Record, Remember, Rebuild. And you can see images that have been uploaded, and you can add images as well. You can now tour the 9/11 Memorial in Lower Manhattan.
Oh, look at that.
Street View. Yeah. Panoramic images of the north and south pools of the memorial, and you can see the victims' names engraved on the edges of the pools. Haven't been able to look at that myself yet, but it's there if you can't make a trip to New York.
It's tough to go there.
Yeah. And Central Park, in partnership with Central Park Conservancy, a Street View crew went around Central Park, I guess on bikes, on 360 photo or cameras, took pictures of imagery of the parks and trails and paths and plazas. So really, really cool way to check out Central Park as well.
I love maps.
Maps is awesome. Street View isn't really. It's amazing. It's amazing the places that you can see and do in Street View. YouTube YouTube editor gets a new slow motion effect.
I thought this was really interesting.
Yeah, this does look really interesting. I'm curious to know if Chad, if you played with this at all. If you visit the enhancements tool,
iMovie and every editing program does this built in. So I'm not. I guess it's if you're uploading directly, maybe. Look at that.
Let's do the show.
Does it do, Chad, a better job than Final Cut would? Or?
So it's doing, yes.
Super slow-mo.
Than Final Cut 7 would do. I haven't played with X, but it is interpolating frames between the frames.
So smooth. Okay.
Right. So this is, and what Final Cut 7 will do is it'll just fade between frames. So this is doing a little bit more than that.
You know what they're saying? The whole point of this is to show server-side processing.
Right.
If you've got a Chromebook, you don't need anymore because we'll do it all on our server.
Right. So, and unfortunately, at the moment, the biggest issue is that it's not really. If I'm going to do this, I'm not wanting to do this to my entire video. I'd want to take a clip. This is a great first step. It's a cool, first proof of concept.
The power of the
So-
cloud.
So you can't select a part of the timeline of your video. It has the whole video or nothing right now.
So far from what I've noticed, because that's normally how the YouTube editor works, is you can enhance an entire video, you can replace audio on an entire video. So that is what I assume. I actually haven't done any slow-mo stuff yet.
It looks pretty smooth. Looked pretty good.
Yeah, it does look very smooth. Makes it look like it filmed with a high-speed camera.
Right.
And that was a nice example in Times Square. Finally, just after the stable version of Chrome 27 came out, Google announced the release of Chrome 28 beta for Windows, Mac, and Linux. And the biggest new feature are these is this new rich notification center. So this isn't Google Now. These are just browser notifications that are really nice. They include images and big text and small text. They kind of look like Google Now cards, actually. This may be what they're talking about when they say Google Now in the browser. This is only working on Windows. I actually haven't seen this working yet. I've only seen screenshots, and it's going to come to Mac and Linux eventually. But this is really nice. I just built browser-based notifications into ThinkUp, and it's just a really nice way to know what's going on with a web app. And the screenshots there on the next web look really nice.
Do I have to use
image
Chrome
text.
Beta track? What?
Yeah, it's a Chrome 28 beta, and it's Windows only right now.
Getting
Those
my Windows
notifications.
machine
Why would
out
they
of
do it on Windows first?
the trunk.
Breaking them out.
Oh, yes. Hi, good friend. Haven't seen you in 15 minutes.
But you have to go to a site that triggers a rich notification.
Oh, crap.
We need to find
Do we
an
know
example
sites
site.
that'll
I
do
wonder
that?
Let's see.
I do use, I actually have Canary Chrome as well.
I'm looking for. Oh yeah, Google has a Notify Test app. Yes.
Oh, okay. Let me just make sure this
Or
is
is this the code? Oh, that's a GitHub link. That is the code. That is not the actual page.
Oh, the version 28's coming in now. All right. Well, we'll play with it later. I'll put this aside.
Okay, cool. That's all I got for the changelog.
And that's the Google timpani drums, please. Changelog. Boom, 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 boom. Thank you, Gina Trapani. It's a long segment. They every week they got lots of new stuff.
I cut stuff.
It's amazing.
Leo. Like that was the edited version.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I know that.
Yeah,
It's
the
so quickly
Gmail
after
thing
I/O.
is back in the main one.
That's a new. We're trying that out.
Sorry.
I don't know if you like that sound.
That was me making sure that slow-mo works. So I actually have done a little.
Was that slow-mo music?
Yeah, so I was playing with a little a clip of my own. So what you can do is you can slice a clip that you have into multiple clips. So you can actually pick a frame. You could also do things like combine videos and
Oh, so you
and
could have
stuff
like a
that.
section of slow-mo.
Right. So
that's neat.
so like I have an intro that I was working on. So let me hit done. So if I wanted to slice the clip, I can move the playhead to where I want to slice it and then hit the slice button. And then there we go. And now I have two separate clips. And let's say I want this first clip. I hit the enhance button and then I go to slow-mo and let's choose 25%. And I hit done. And now that first clip is now a minute long.
This looks a little like a timeline interface. You know,
right.
they're moving. I got to tell you, if I were Apple, I'd start looking back to those pros because I don't think the low end's going to be available anymore.
Right.
Wow.
And then you can even preview what you're doing. And that's what you were hearing, unfortunately, was the...
And
it
here's
even
the
does
thing.
the audio.
Oh, the audio
You're not
slow
gonna render.
too. Wow.
Yeah. No rendering.
This is key. No rendering. No thumb twiddling.
Nope.
That was
It's happening
instant?
up on powerful machines.
Well, so let's find out. I may publish this really weird video. Stop. There. I may publish this really weird video to my YouTube account, but so there's a little bit of processing on their
There
side.
is rendering. Okay.
But
all right.
from what I have, from any time that I've uploaded a video, their processing is way faster than just uploading it. So
Exactly.
we can try to find out. Let me
They have a
good,
few
it's
more
unlisted.
computers than you do.
They have a few more.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, and it's actually more featured than I originally expected.
That is amazing. I really do think that's the first of, you'll probably see, just as you did with Picasa and then eventually Google Plus, more and more smarts on the server side. And eventually, who needs a video editing program? You can do it all on a Pixel.
Right. And from this, I can choose multiple videos to merge into one video. So if I've taken 5 different clips on my phone that automatically were uploaded, but in a private fashion to YouTube, I can now take those 3 clips and make them a full video with editing in the cloud.
Oh, darn. This content has been flagged as infringing. I'm sorry, Chad. They just pulled it down.
Darn.
Very slowly. That's not slow. They do that quite... No, I'm just kidding. That's the only... we can only...
Wait, it just got pulled?
No, I was joking.
He's kidding.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
But you believed it, which is kind of the point. It could happen. It has many a time. Well, that's neat. I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. I gotta play around with the YouTube editor a little bit. Like when I was watching the All About Android fan who had edited together Ron Richards' reaction to Glass,
Which was
like something like that, which was so great. But I was like, wow, could you do something like that? Could you do an edit like that? That was a great edit, very quick edit though. In the YouTube editor, has it gotten that good? It seems like. I don't know.
Clip to clip to clip to clip. Yeah.
It was just clip to clip to clip to clip. Yeah. So you're just slicing it up and then
Yeah. The hard part is when you're going to start mixing soundtracks and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's where I can imagine it getting a little more headachy. But if all you're doing is slice, yeah, I would imagine YouTube could do that.
They call it simple A/B editing in the biz, and
Thank you.
It is what most people do, frankly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing something fancier, you probably do want something fancier, but you don't need it. And for 90% of editing, you probably, server side is probably the way to go.
What's cool?
Not yet. I mean, they're not doing that much yet, but I could see them adding a tool every few weeks to the point where by the end of the year, you got something amazing.
And they even have like Creative Commons music that you can
they
pull.
do?
Yeah, that's and videos. So like right now I hit the Creative Commons tab.
Oh my goodness. So they have quite a bit of capability.
Yeah, I'm in stock footage of Alcatraz that I never had, that I didn't own. I can click music. Let's choose home. I don't even know what this is. Throw this on. Is that it? What is that?
That's the Creative Commons music. No. I'm playing Roll It. Go ahead.
Roll it. So now this is Open Your Eyes with Alcatraz in the background. Heck yeah. That's right. It's The Rock.
Wait till Lars Ulrich hears that.
And we won't get pulled off of YouTube because that's
their
Creative
music.
Commons.
All right. This is the next YouTube. This is the next awesome thing. Roll It. Have you guys played this?
Oh, yeah. It crashed for me last night, but I got it working today.
This is on Chrome. You go to chrome.com/campaign/roll it.
No download needed.
And no download needed. Open your phone's browser. All right, let's do that. And now, I'm going to do this on the air, but guys, please don't steal my code, okay? It's not cool. Okay, TITVF. Got to do this quickly before somebody else does. TITVF in my mobile browser. And you could show it over. I said it out loud. You can show it. Okay, so now I don't know how they do this, but somehow match. Oh, wait a minute. I did it wrong. Try again. Oh, you got to enter it right. TITVF.
Where's the music coming from? The laptop?
Coming from the lab, the Roll It game. We're in the Roll It arcade.
There we
Okay,
go.
now they're synced up. Now watch. I tilt
First
to
you gotta
select
pick
the number
one.
of players. 1, 2, or 3. This works. Is that wild? I'm playing it on my phone. I don't know how they do this. I guess it's all HTML5, right?
On the phone is sending it, right?
Okay, now watch this. So first I aim it. I'm going to aim a little bit to the left. Now, Chad, you're going to have to see the whole thing because I'm going to swing it. Roll!
Whoa, you went above.
Little too vigorous there. Let's try that again. Roll! Oh, just missed 50 there.
10 points.
10 points. You ever play skee ball? This is an interesting, I don't know what, use of...
10 years old and at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, the music too, right? So, and you do get tickets, by the way, at the end of it. I don't know what you can do with it. Oh, so close. Let's aim it a little bit more to the right here. Just a little to the left, I mean.
Maybe you
okay.
can get a Bitcoin.
Yeah, get a Bitcoin.
So you have to be running Chrome on Android, right? This doesn't work in just browser.
It says any
No,
browser, but they prefer Chrome.
They prefer Chrome, but
So
browser.
it's HTML5. So yeah,
Okay.
developer lady, tell us how they do this.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out.
It's obviously not Wi-Fi. It's connecting back to the. Obviously, so here's what I think. There's an HTML5 app in my phone that can see the accelerometer, something you can't do on an iPhone.
Right.
So it can see the accelerometer, and it's just sending that back to the website, and the website's updating based on accelerometer information from my phone. Oh, I hit a cat.
Did you hit a cat?
Everyone in the chat room is saying, yeah, device API plus WebSockets.
Yeah.
No big
WebSockets,
deal.
no big deal.
SSD, whatever.
Look at that. Isn't that cool? But
No,
but but Google's so smart to do this for several reasons. Of course, it promotes HTML5, but it also promotes open access to the hardware, which is something. Remember, I said Apple's painted itself into a corner.
Now, Leo, if we had 3 players, is that 3 players in the same place,
tickets.
or could you and Gina and I play from 3 different
That's a
browsers?
good question. I don't know.
Well, that is a good question.
I don't know. I've had enough, but
Yeah.
isn't that interesting?
If it's a code, I mean, it has. Yeah, we could play remotely, right? It's a code.
Yeah.
that let you,
I just give you the code.
I don't need to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that wild?
It's pretty wild.
And of course, it's a dumb game, but that's not the point. The point is the technology involved, and I think that's kind of cool.
We used to have to go to Chuck E. Cheese for this, people.
Just think.
There's Gina being nostalgic.
Yeah, like back in my day, we had to touch the gross balls that everybody else touched to play that game.
But I really do think that it underscores, and over and over again, you see that there's stuff that you can do on an Android phone you will never be able to do on an iPhone because only Apple has the keys to the kingdom. Only Apple can look at the, the hardware. Only Apple can do a lot of things. And I understand Apple's made that choice, but they've made their bed. Now they got to lie in it. They made the choice for security that we control this very, very tightly. And I think it's smart for Google to say, okay, but you can develop for the Android phone. Wait a minute, it works on an iPhone? Okay, I take it all back.
I was going to say, if these are standards,
It
right?
works on an iPhone? I'm shocked.
It's just the browser. It's just HTML5.
Well, yeah, you could say that, but for Apple to give access to hardware level APIs is unusual. I'm shocked. Okay, never mind. I take it all back. Everything I said was wrong.
Meanwhile, however, somebody from Adweek still managed to write the negative story about this.
What?
I don't know. It's just, can you believe this? Spoil sport. Well, it's big bad Google. I don't know.
What's big and bad about this? It's skee ball.
Nothing. I'm so sick of media technopanic at every possible turn.
Well, that's interesting. So Apple gives HTML5 WebSockets access to the gyroscope.
Well, an app developer gets access to it through making a game app or something, right?
Yeah, but that's different because then you can vet the game app.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I mean, the device is giving the gyro or to access to.
It's an HTML5 API, right? So it's merely supporting HTML5 fully. But I'm just surprised.
Right.
Is it Chrome or Safari that's doing it?
Well, is anybody playing on Safari on the iPhone?
Because Chrome.
Oh, wait a minute. The iOS folks are saying you have to use an app.
Oh.
Can you do it with your browser is the question on the iPhone. No, Safari. They're saying Safari works. And then it asks you.
HTML5 accelerometer.
It asks for permission. It says, may we access the hardware? That I would expect. Chrome works on an iOS and Safari works on iOS. Okay, I take it all back. Thank you, Apple.
Happy.
That's the right way to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that's the kind of thing Apple normally wouldn't do. All right, and I have rebooted my Ubuntu desktop after installing Chrome. Let's move on. Something else. What should we talk about, kids? While I'm trying to get this thing working. I apologize. I'm using a new computer for the first time. It just came, and I wasn't really prepared to use it, and I probably shouldn't have done this.
Are you ready for the new Gmail, the first story?
Yes, the new Gmail. iOS or Android or desktop?
Both. And in fact, I didn't include this in the changelog because it's coming out in the next few weeks, in the coming weeks. So I actually haven't used it yet. So I try to keep it down to stuff that's coming, that's pretty available. But it's basically there was that Smart Labels lab, right, which automatically sorted your mail into promotions and social and updates and forums. And it looks like they are graduating that to be native. and that those labels are going to show up in the kind of native apps on Android and iOS. It appears
with tabs atop.
Yep.
Oh, is that better? It looks like there are a bunch of ads.
That's what strikes me.
Oh,
Those are
great.
things I'm never going to click on.
I can see more ads. One tab for promotions and offers.
Oh, boy.
Is that your Gmail making that sound?
Yeah, that's the ad that's making that sound.
Oh, Lord above. Oh, lordy. Do you think we're going to get pulled down by the Delphonics?
I don't know. It's part of this video.
I'm so paranoid now.
Oh, it all makes sense. You can see that in the...
So the tabs really, the inbox has gone Google again, but the tabs, what are they? It said social?
Social promotion.
Offers and updates. I think it's too much. Basically, I have things I want to read and the rest.
Right. Well, maybe if it moves all the crap into promotions, I wouldn't be unhappy.
But then it's already in the rest.
So, is priority inbox, or is that just
Thanks for confusing the hell out of us, Google.
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah, and I'm actually worried because I use the Chrome offline Gmail app, and they've oversimplified it to the extent that it's hard to get to some simple functions, and it's dumbed down too much.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you can disable the tabs if you don't like them.
You can. It says you can, yes.
Yeah,
but that's always maybe temporary. That's for now. You stick in the mud, you.
Is it a form of filtering, though? I mean, what are they?
There's also a plus over on the other side, so you could create another.
You can make more tabs. So I could have a Gina tab.
It's labels. So that field trial, that Smart Labels field trial, is basically just labels, but that it's much like priority inbox, except divining, is this a mailing list message? Is this a promotional email? Is this an update, a social update, which is like somebody circled you on Google Plus or followed you on Twitter? So I've had that on for quite some time, and it's actually pretty good at it. Yeah,
Good.
notifications, forums. Yeah, it's not so bad. But this is a huge. I actually had only seen the mobile app screenshots. I hadn't seen the desktop screenshots. I'm a little kind of put off, honestly, by the giant tabs across the top. I'm sort of.
I am too.
I live in the web-based version of Gmail, so I'm a little bit like, somebody came into my house and
They've rearranged the furniture.
the whole place
Back
up.
to
Yeah.
pine for you.
But you won't get this unless you're part of the field trial, or who gets this? Because I don't have it yet.
This is rolling out gradually, they said, in the next few weeks. If you'd like to try out the new inbox or on desktop sooner, keep an eye on the gear menu and select configure inbox when it appears in the settings option.
Okay, let's see if I have that. I'm in the
Configure
settings.
inbox.
Let's see.
I've got
Gear
it.
menu. Oh, you do?
Ew.
So do you want to turn it on?
Turn
What
it
is it?
on.
What do you look for, Gina?
In the gear menu, there's a configure inbox button in the
Not
drop
in
down.
mine, so I don't have it yet.
Separate
Okay.
settings.
Yeah.
I don't have it yet.
Do I have to go to
Okay.
settings first?
No, just the gear menu and then configure inbox.
Okay, so yeah, I don't have that
So
yet.
it's display density and it's above settings in mine. Oh yeah, wow.
I did just get a notification. Popped up as triangulation because it's in my calendar.
Gina,
So
are you using
I got a popped up
apps or-
notification on Chrome. Huh.
Gina, are you using your app's address or your Gmail address?
I don't use apps. I don't want
This
to.
is my app's address.
Oh, Gina's using her app's
Oh.
address. Okay.
Yeah, this is my app's address, which is exciting. Let me see if my other address has it.
No, just 1
yeah,
minute
this
ago,
is-
Gina was saying, I don't like this.
Now
and
she, well, it's something
because
new. It doesn't matter.
Well,
She's in before
I'm-
the rest of us. She's excited.
I'm
I'm
thinking
here.
about it. Yeah.
I've got it. But, if you could make tabs of your own, get rid of their stupid tabs and use filtering into tabs. Now, how is it different from folders? It's just a different presentation?
It's just a list. It's like looking at a label. It's like looking at all the messages in a label. So, but Google does these labels. So Google figures out. So in my social tab is packed with Twitter, Facebook, Flickr, all these like sort of notifications from social apps with promotions is empty for me. That's interesting.
Well, nothing new's come in since you turned it on, probably. right? So
Yeah. Well,
it's
no,
not backwards.
It did. It auto sorted
it did.
my email. So like my forums tab, I'm on a bunch of mailing lists because I'm open source. But so that's all. Those are all listed there. Yeah, I'll leave this on and try it out. I'm a little dubious.
Too bad they don't have a Buzz tab. Move all my Google Buzz messages
now.
there.
Did you notice that the Buzz email went out like at midnight on Friday night before Memorial Day?
And still,
I happened to be up online and working because I'm a night owl, and I was like, "Wow, this is very well timed."
they're moving all your buzzing to your Google Drive.
Yeah.
They're burying it.
Which is nice.
Yeah, at least they didn't throw it out.
Yeah, well, it's nicer than the way Yahoo shuts down sites, right? That's one thing you got to give Google. They always do the takeout, the export takeout option.
It'll be a massive XML file that's completely useless, right? I mean, what are we going to get?
Pretty much.
Yeah. That won't happen until July 17th. I loved Buzz. I was an early Buzz adopter, as usual. What is this Google Code download option deprecated? What happened there?
I don't get it.
Sounds like they had and GitHub did the same thing. So this actually isn't a huge news update, but Google Code, much like GitHub, like it would give you the option to upload files that people could download. So you would do that, say, if you had a compiled version of your code, or a zip package, for example. And I think it was just getting abused. I think people were using it to host, I don't know, pirated material, pornography. I don't know.
Of course.
They were just
that
using
makes
it
sense.
as kind of a Dropbox kind of thing. So they disabled it. GitHub disabled that download similarly a few months ago as well, and saying, hey, there are better solutions out there for hosting downloads. And they're right. It is. So yeah, no big deal.
When a bridge goes out and you're using old GPS maps, that could actually be very dangerous if the GPS steers you onto the bridge. If you're using Google Maps, nothing to worry about. When the Washington State I-5 bridge collapse happened on Thursday evening, by Friday morning, Google Maps was fixed. As soon as the local news picked up on the bridge collapse, somebody used the Map Maker tool to go into Google Maps to edit it and reflect the bridge collapse.
Volunteers, man.
That's where crowdsourcing is so great.
Doesn't Google still pop up a disclaimer, though, with navigation when you activate navigation for the first time that says, like, hey, you should actually pay attention to signs and maybe not exactly check other maps, right? They always kind of have to say that, right?
Well, and part of the reason is that the turn-by-turn has to be updated by engineers. So the turn-by-turn could still have sent you to that collapsed bridge.
Yeah. I mean, of course, you wouldn't get onto the bridge. You would see the signs. I mean,
Well, that's why you should pay attention.
Reroute. yeah.
It probably is true. It is the case. Did you get your new Google Maps?
Even the turn-by-turn, though, Leo. I mean, whether it's Google or whether it's Waze, they're routing you around traffic.
Right.
Instantly.
Waze is great that way.
Waze is wonderful.
Waze is wonderful. And I think if a bridge goes down on Waze, they will route you around. And they do it silently, by the way.
They'll know it's a hazard. They'll mark it as a hazard right away. Last night I was going out somewhere, and it was having me go off on a service road, and I thought, this is ridiculous. Why? I'm going to come right back on. But it had me miss a half mile of traffic. Exactly. It was just smart.
I do love Waze. Now, Facebook was rumored to be looking at it or talking. And
now Google as well.
Well, if Facebook fell through or has been I don't know what. The latest is, no, they're not going to buy it. I don't know if Google needs Waze. I think Google...
I don't think they really need it, but I'd rather have had it in Google's hands than Facebook's hands, just simply because the community that adds up to a really useful map.
Right. I agree with you on that.
I wrote a business plan for this 15 years ago, where our New York traffic reports suck so badly. The rule is, an old colleague of mine said that if you hear that there's a crash on a bridge, go to where they say don't go, because by the time they've learned about it, it's already cleared up and nobody else is going there, and you're going to have better traffic than you ever had.
That's so sad.
Awful. It's true. And so what I wanted to do was this crowdsourced notion, but it probably wasn't back in the day.
There was no way to do it.
Reports.
But once everybody's carrying a cell phone, it's I wish it's a brilliant idea. And anybody who's tried to listen to radio traffic reports to save time realizes it's hopeless. It's not going to help you at all. I gave up on it myself. But now with this, even now Google now will tell you. In fact, Google, that's what I'm saying, is Google may not need Waze. Google now will say, hey, there's bad traffic. Don't. Speaking of Facebook, they've decided not to bring the HTC First to the UK. That was the phone that came out of the box featuring Facebook Home. I guess Facebook Home has kind of flopped. I think it's safe to say that now.
Yep.
That's what it sounds like.
So is that a surprise? We thought that if you were a heavy Facebook user, it might be desirable. Maybe not.
Yeah, it does surprise me. I did assume that if you were a heavy Facebook user and the numbers support that most people spend time on their phone on Facebook, that Facebook Home would be a good solution. But it sounds like Facebook is kind of pulling back and retooling based on customer feedback. They've decided to add to focus on adding new customization features. So I wonder what that means. I wonder if that means what I hope that means is we're going to open up Facebook Home so that it's not so entirely Facebook, centric.
It felt like you had to dig deep to do anything but look at Facebook.
Other than Facebook. Yeah, exactly.
I put it on and immediately, 15 minutes later took it off. And you were standing there. You remember when we ran into Bradley Horowitz at Google I/O, I said, boy, I'd love to see a Google Plus kind of a Facebook Home. And what was it he did, Jeff? He
said you'd like to see much more than that, and you will.
Yeah.
I think something like that.
He pretty much said, yeah, we're working on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably already knew that Facebook Home was not a success.
Yeah.
Presumably.
I've heard zero discussion about it either way.
Yeah.
It was so limiting to have to get a limited number of phones to get this thing.
Yeah,
I really like chat heads.
Well,
I've used chat heads.
There's a notification system, the chat head style notification system for Android. That's I've been playing with. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Wait, which one? Which one is it?
It's called pop-up bubbles or something. I can't remember what it is, but your notifications come up with little chat heads, and you can do all the same things you do with chat heads, but it's all the notifications.
Oh, it's all notifications.
Yeah.
So it's not like your friend's face. It's whatever the app is.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I don't use Facebook heavily, but a friend of mine I have a few friends who messaged me on Facebook, and recently that happened this week, and it showed up on my phone in chat heads, and I was like, oh, that's nice. I mean, I'm just running, Messenger updated to chat heads, and I liked it.
Somebody in the chat room, Web 3778, says he loves the new Gmail inbox. This new inbox is amazing, he says. And another chatter, Jester, is saying CNET is reporting that the HTC One vanilla Google Experience phone is a go. Confirmed and coming in the summer, according to CNET News.
Really? How much?
Well, $650 for the Galaxy S4, and this is probably in that ballpark, I would guess, as well.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, so this inbox, what's interesting about these tabs, sorry to jump around, but like if you get a new message under a certain tab, like you get a little notification on that tab, which is kind of cool, saying, oh, hey, there's new messages here. Yeah, this is nice.
Now I want it, even though I didn't before. You made me want it.
Oh. Google gods, please bestow the configure inbox option in the gear menu upon my co-hosts.
Thank you.
This week, instead of that, I'll take a screening invitation to the internship. I've been trying to get a screening so I can go see it and talk about it in the show, and I can't get one.
Boy, was I wrong. Apparently, all the reviews are positive on this new Owen Wilson.
Loved it.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn movie where they play interns, superannuated interns at Google. And we saw the trailer, and at least I thought, oh, this looks really bad.
Yeah, it does look really bad.
Apparently it's not.
Great. Eric Schmidt had a cameo that was left on the cutting room floor.
Oh, that's too bad.
Sergey's in it twice.
Really?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So when is this?
June 7.
All right, everybody.
Okay, soon.
Well, so who is it does this?
Fox.
Jeff, you are.
Katie Cork knows who I am.
You're a friend of Katie's. You're a reviewer from years gone by. I mean,
I use Twig. I said this Twig has an audience of 6 million.
You'd bring in that's a lie, but okay. You'd bring in your Pixel Chrome. Yeah, Chromebook. Yeah.
I'll wear a Chrome sticker on my forehead. I'll do anything.
How do we get Jeff into a screening in New York City of the internship?
I used to be cool. I was on all the lists. Now I'm a nobody.
When I was in San Francisco radio, I was on that list, and there's this beautiful screening room down on Market Street, and it's small. It's maybe 20 people. Everybody gets like a beautiful reclining seat. It's cushy.
Yeah.
And you're special because you're seeing the movie before it comes out.
Those were the days, weren't they?
Yeah, Mick LaSalle's sitting there in the front row going, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. It's great. It's so much fun.
We need to
Yeah.
send you in with glass so you can live stream it so the rest of us can watch it.
Yeah, how long before movie theaters ban glass? That's next.
Oh, that'll be such a great way to watch a movie.
Well, when you go to the bathroom, you can just leave the glass on the seat.
Yeah.
Won't miss a thing. No, you need 2 glasses for that. You could have a hangout.
Yeah, live streaming hangout. The internship.
Speaking of Nexus style phones, apparently there's a leak that says the Nexus 4 will come out in white. Does that excite you?
No.
No.
We want the Nexus 5.
Will we see a Nexus X? Remember we were all excited about that before Google
Yeah, the
I/O?
Motorola.
I'm still having a
Singularity.
hardware lust, man. What's something new?
The Pixel didn't quite do it for you because you had it already.
Oh, no, it does, Gina. It does. It most certainly does.
Oh, it
I'm
does, it
sated.
does.
I'm
But
satisfied. I'm happy.
I have
about
to
a new
say,
Nexus?
having played with this just for the last hour, this new Linux laptop, because you're using a browser so much, it's fine. You don't feel like, you're using some oddball operating system. I'm sitting here in Chrome doing all that same stuff.
What does it take to update Ubuntu?
It's just a little update program you run. I already did it. I did it while we were talking.
It's program we run, okay. Right.
Let's
I've
see.
got to take Linux lessons.
What I feel really bad for these guys who basically used a Google search to find a security flaw at Scripps News. They discovered personal data for 170,000. Oh, no, they were reporters for Scripps News. They found a security flaw.
Reporters, yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to imply that Scripps had the problem. Terracom, actually, it's kind of relevant because this is not only a cell phone company, but it's the one that does the free phones. Yourtel and Terracom are owned by vCare, which is an Indian-based service that verify applicants for the free cell phones, the low-income free cell phone program. And apparently 170,000 customers' personal information, including social security numbers, was sitting on a publicly accessible server, which the reporters found with a Google search, and they have now been branded hackers.
They used the hacker program wget.
Yeah, they used wget. That was what got them in real trouble.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, they literally used wget?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or they did the search in the browser.
Yeah.
found
They
the
used
file,
wget
and
to search for and download data from this open, FTP server or whatever. Yeah, they used HTTP and FTP. Bulk downloaded. And, of course, they didn't hide their access to it, so Terracom said this came from a Scripps IP address. They identify them as the Scripps hackers. These hackers. That's
They made an
moral
HTTP
panic.
request.
Yep, moral panic. Writ large. Amazon's launched a login service a la Google and Facebook. Log in with Amazon. Single sign-in. Works on Android as well as iOS and through the web. So sites can then use this. When you go to our site, it says log in via Google, log in via Facebook, log in via, I can't remember what else.
Is there any AWS advantage that comes with this?
No. It's just Amazon's another player in the single sign-on.
Yet another one.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Amazon's got the advantage of, you go to Amazon to buy stuff, right? So
They've got your credit card. Makes it easy to buy stuff.
Card, maybe. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like what Google does with Wallet, right?
Yeah. But I think the user mindset with Amazon is a little bit like when I think Amazon, I'm going to purchase something like,
Right.
you know what I mean? I feel like I'm more on that mindset.
Yeah.
All right, tell you what. Let's. I think unless you guys have something else, I'm looking through here that you want to talk about.
Did you see the Hitler teapot? Did you see the Hitler teapot?
Oh my God, Godwin's law in effect already. Let me see. It's a viral sensation for J.C. Penney. Is it an actual Hitler
Negative
teapot?
sensation. Go open it up and you'll see the picture.
All right, it's a social
And
media
this became a
uproar.
huge sensation.
It is a teapot that looks a little bit like Hitler.
Like Hitler.
But only you gotta really, you gotta have a good imagination.
You
do.
do, but once you see it, you can't get it out of your
Did you
head.
see it? You can't stop.
You can't
So
unsee it.
on the right, the billboard for J.C. Penney. It's just a normal teapot. a little handle, little knob for the lid. It's got, I'm a little teapot, short and stout. I got my arm to pour it out. But then if you juxtapose it with a picture of the Fuhrer, it does kind of looking.
It does.
It does.
That is fantastic. I mean, the sweep of the hair and the nose.
Exactly. It became a huge sensation. I don't know if it was sold out or whether it was pulled down. The teapots are now already selling for higher prices on eBay.
On eBay.
Yeah. Poor JCPenney can't catch a break, and then they have this. So JCPenney put out all kinds of tweets trying to say, if we were going to design a teapot to look like something, we'd design it to look like a snowman. They put up a picture of a snowman teapot. This was not designed to look like anything.
It's kind of, you can't imagine that they did that on purpose.
Of course not. Of course not.
However, having seen it, it's hard to, as you said, hard to unsee it.
Yeah.
I don't know who saw it first, though.
I don't either, but it's good. I think it's Reddit.
Yeah, it's probably Reddit. Wow. And JCPenney, of course, trying to, do damage control. That's tough. Because people probably assume, they did it on purpose. Yeah, there you go. That's much better.
That's what JCPenney says that they would design if they designed a teapot to look like something.
Good. They responded with a little
snowman.
sense of humor anyway.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
I guess hard to have a sense of humor, but it's pretty good. It's amazing.
I got to say, I do like that this one got 300 retweets and 57 favorites, but JCPenney's got 5 retweets and 3 favorites.
Oh, I'll favorite you, JCPenney. Oh.
JCP.
Oh, FTC beginning a new inquiry on Google. We should probably mention that. Although these things go on and on. What is the FTC now? That's business practices.
It's now display ads.
Display ads.
Yeah.
They're
So their
specifically
market share
wondering
there
whether
is
the
much
company is
smaller.
bundling advertising services in such a way that it prohibits rivals from competing for the business of advertising. An investigation doesn't mean anything necessarily.
No.
They're just looking into it.
Did you guys get to talk to Matt about XMPP and Hangouts last week by any chance?
No, we didn't really.
Should have asked him
Yeah.
about that. At the time, it wasn't clear that they were abandoning it. I think he mentioned it a little bit. It wasn't clear that they were abandoning it completely, but now it feels like maybe they are.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird under sun kind of thing. Like there was that Verge story that had that one line about how it was a difficult decision, but not a whole lot of coverage. But the EFF posted, Google abandons open standards for instant messaging. I mean, there's, I have to say that this put me off a little bit. I was like, this is
XMPP, Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol, is a really great standard. We for a long time ran an XMPP server. It's very flexible. It's very interesting. And Google did use it because originally Google Talk was Jabber compatible, and Jabber is an XMPP.
Jabber is
client.
XMPP, right. So now that Hangouts is taking over Google Talk, so it's possible so if someone is a Jabber user or an XMPP user and is connected to Google servers, that's fine. They can use Hangouts, albeit I think in a limited fashion, just text IMs come through. Chad, we talked about this.
Right.
I forget if it was AA or Twig, but it's if you're connected to another XMPP server, that server can't communicate with folks using Hangouts. And it's not obvious, it just looks as if they're not there, right? So they just decided, that XMPP didn't do what they needed for it to do, and so they, it's no longer interoperable with Hangouts, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be, for a company for a company whose CEO got on stage and talked about how he's so disappointed that other companies would support interoperability with them, right? Which is what Larry Page was saying at Google I/O. I mean, this feels, I think this is a legitimate hypocrite.
Well, I want to hear them talk about why they did it. Maybe there's a good reason, maybe security or something. They need to respond to it. The problem is it's such an obscure thing that it's not, and there's not a big drumbeat about it, that they haven't responded to it. They need to talk. Somebody needs to step forward and say, look, this is why, this is what it is. We needed to do this because. In the absence of that, you're going to assume it's something anti-competitive.
Right.
That they don't want interoperability between chat clients. In fact, that's what Larry was specifically complaining about, wasn't he? That, who was it? Was it Microsoft didn't allow Google to interoperate?
It was he was talking about Exchange and Gmail,
Exchange.
right? ActiveSync, right, with Gmail.
But I thought they were talking a little bit about IM as well, or he mentioned IM in
He
some
may
context.
have.
Yeah.
He brought up the Java suite with Oracle, right? He mentioned Microsoft,
Agreed.
although Google had just C&D'd Microsoft for their YouTube app on Windows, so
Right. They've
And
worked
then
that out. They've worked that out, right? They're working
They
together
did.
on an app for your Windows Phone. All is well. Kissing made up.
The
Wasn't a
XMPP
big deal.
thing, though. So,
Yeah. I would
mean,
like to hear more about why they dumped XMPP. Maybe I'm willing to have an open mind that maybe there's a technical reason why it was something they needed to do.
Well, I mean, what if the answer is we just needed to move forward and XMPP just didn't do what we needed it to do in order to work with Hangouts?
Yeah.
I mean, right? I mean, like this is kind of this is kind of the same thing with Blink, right? Like, well, we forked WebKit because we have a different vision for what it should be,
Right.
and we need to move it forward on our roadmap. It feels a little with Blink. I'm kind of like, well, okay, I guess I can see that. With XMPP, that feels a little flimsy. But you're right. I would love to get somebody on to discuss it. It hasn't been a really big issue. I'm surprised it hasn't gotten more coverage. But the critics have definitely picked it up as clear evidence, that Google really isn't about openness.
The implication is that is there an API for Hangouts? I mean, is Hangouts open? The implication is that only Google could make a Hangout client. If it were XMPP, anybody could make Hangouts interrupt.
Right. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so right now. I think Google would say, that it's early and that there will be an API eventually. I mean, but this is how, this is what XMPP was for, right? This is what you would do to chat with someone on another network. You would use XMPP and you were able to do that before with Google Talk. It's the backslide that's troubling. This used to work and now it doesn't.
Google, there actually may be a response. Here's from Computer World. Thank you to F. Alex in our chat room. Google argues it had to use proprietary tech in Hangouts. The company's catching flack. Let's see if there's a quote. Google spokeswoman said via email, Google had good reasons to go down the path it chose for Hangouts. Quote, over the past several years, we've worked to bring the world an open messaging system, but no company has been willing to join our efforts. After 7 years, it's evident that the rest of the industry is not moving to embrace this open system. If at some point in the future the industry shows interest, well, what about open source programmers? What about open source code? What about Pigeon and Trillian and all the other clients that support XMPP? What industry? You're talking about Facebook and Apple? We would be open to discussions about developing an interface that's designed for modern needs. You're right. That's exactly the wrong answer. That's exactly the wrong answer. They said the openness of Google Talk yielded bad user experiences, making it vulnerable to spam attacks. That's true. I mean, if it's using XMPP, you could write a bot that would use it.
Like Apple.
Yeah. When XMPP was designed, said the spokeswoman, smartphones and social networks didn't exist. Yet both trends essentially transformed communication, but the standard remains unchanged. I think my experience with XMPP is a very flexible standard that it can be adapted. For example, mobile has several requirements around bandwidth and battery that are simply not part of the standard, and audio and video integration are not well defined. It's XML. It's extensible. I don't know if I buy that.
Yeah. Yeah, I am disappointed.
No response immediately from Peter St. Andre. We've interviewed him, by the way, on our Floss Weekly podcast. He's the executive director of the XMPP Standards Foundation. In Twitter, he said, Google can stop supporting XMPP, but it's impossible for them to kill it. That's the beauty of distributed technologies. And as you said, the EFF is saying, make it public, make it interoperable. And says the EFF, releasing the specifications for Google Hangouts would be a good first step. I agree. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you made it open and you said, look, we got a better way, it's open, that would be different. If you don't make it open, then what you're really saying is we want to own this space and we don't want Microsoft and others to do it.
Right.
Okay, well, we'll wait and see. Tolly says Facebook Chat does support XMPP. I'm not aware of that, but that's interesting. XMPP client to server will be supported by Hangouts, says Winster. It's about server-to-server federation, which means anyone could link to Google's servers with their users. Maybe if that's all it is, then that's maybe not so bad. More to read about on that. Android 4.3, according to Ars Technica, slated for June 10th, just came out.
Oh yeah.
That would be interesting. We're waiting.
We don't really know what's in it except the new camera UI.
We just know we won't get it unless we're running a Nexus 4.
Right.
That's all we
I
know.
hope the Galaxy Nexus gets it.
Well, the new Galaxy S4 will plain vanilla will get it.
Bear is in the chat room. He's our sysadmin and is actually an expert on XMPP. I don't know if we can get him on. I don't think we have time, Bear. Can you give us a one-liner in the chat room as to your position on Google Talk or Hangouts abandoning XMPP? We'll wait and see.
He's saying that Computer World article is very controversial.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'll let him speak. Sorry, that was a little bit of a Hitler teapot buzzkill.
We were all high from the Hitler teapot, and then you brought that up.
Well, and then the chat room said the chat room said, by the way, Google Hitler house.
Oh, there's a Hitler house? A house that looks like
Google
Hitler?
Hitler house.
You know, Hitler kind of was a graphic meme. All right, let me try it. Anyway.
This just doesn't get old. This is great.
Okay, the house looks a little bit like him, but not.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Not exactly like him. Looks like the teapot, actually. That's really silly. You'd have to have a very good imagination. The house is in Wales. All right.
Can you imagine all the geeks who go on pilgrimages to that house, the poor people who were in it?
Take pictures. Look. Okay. Let us get our tip and number and tool of the week, starting with Gina Trapani. Your tip, my dear.
Oh, tip of the week is that Google has incorporated your photos into the regular search box. So we talked about before how you can search for My Flights and get your flight information from Gmail. You can do this for your photos now.
That's wild.
And which is cool. And Google is these are your Google Plus photos, and Google's using computer vision to figure out what is in your photos. So, for example, if you search for this is the exact search term, My Photos of Flowers. You will see photos of flowers that you've taken with your phone and uploaded to Google Plus. If you have Instant Upload on, you've got lots of them, and you can see all your photos of flowers. I didn't have a whole lot of photos of flowers.
Perfect.
It's not
I
perfect.
had tons of pictures of trees because they all fell down around me, and it caught like 2 of 30.
Well, look at my pictures of flowers, ladies and gentlemen. That's all flowers all the time.
That is all flowers. I did my photos of food, and it did a really good job of figuring out like plates of meals.
I got bacon.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, think about how difficult it is to figure out what's food. And
This
what's
is
not.
very impressive. It's got people eating. It's got my mom and my daughter cooking. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay, I'm impressed.
Yeah,
I'm impressed. Yeah. Does this work with any arbitrary noun?
I think so. Yeah, I tried baby, and it didn't find Etta, so I don't know. I don't know if I had the facial tag, if I had to.
My photos of animals.
Yeah, nice.
Wow.
That is.
Yes. So
damn, Google's smart.
Yeah. Well,
damn.
Google's really doing object recognition in our photos, and now you can get it right from the search box. It's pretty
I'm
cool.
looking at my photos of cheese.
This is another case, though.
Doesn't come up with any. Look at that. You take way too many pictures of cats.
I do. Yeah. I did flowers. And it only got one tree that I apparently.
Oh, this is interesting. If I entered my photos of cats, I get a picture of Cat Schwartz. A woman I used to work with named Cat. She does have a horse on her shirt. No cats. That's interesting. So you got to do animals, broad nouns.
Yeah.
But this is a new game.
Yeah, it is. Now I'm trying animals.
My picture of Gina's. Look!
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Oh my God!
Wow. Yeah, because I'm tagged in that photo. I think the three of us are tagged.
My search
sense.
of furniture.
Wow.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Wow. I searched for my photos of animals. I went to the San Diego Zoo, and it found. Wow. This is. Yeah. So, tip of the week. Guess it was a winner.
This is pretty awesome.
Who needs a brain?
Yeah.
Wow, my photos of furniture. Think about that. How it's recognizing furniture.
But
there you go,
what that
kids.
means, by the way, is this has all been done already.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What'd you search for?
Uh-oh.
My photos of hair.
I'm going to ask you that.
Whoa. Well, only Chad could. That search only works for Chad.
That is weird. I
But
didn't
how
think
would
it
it
would
have done
work.
that?
But it got photos of people's hair.
It is so funny. Like I tried it, and it's all pictures of
Mine too.
people with long hair. Yeah.
Look at, they came up with that picture we were talking about of me when I was 14. Wow.
My photos
Yeah,
of
nice.
cars.
Oh, this is kind of okay.
This
is
is
a
weird.
little scary.
This is weird.
So JBR in the chat room asked, and this is a good question. Do you think that this is less or more exciting than graph search on Facebook?
Well, it's all of a parcel, right?
Huh,
I
this
mean,
is-
what it means is they're
I didn't get
categorizing
this one.
everything now. Everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. We could just do this all day. My photos.
Now, let me
of
just ask, do you do this
Hitler.
in Google Plus? Where do you do this?
No, you do it in Google search.
So Google search, yeah. So it's photos.
It's
of
in
the
your
upload.
search results.
So I think you can do
Oh, you
my
see, this
photos
is a
of New
problem.
York.
My machine is signed in under my apps account.
Right.
And Google, fix it. You're smart. If you can do this, if you can find furniture, you can fix this.
Look at my
Okay?
photos of sunsets.
Oh, nice one, Leo.
Unbelievable.
I didn't know you were such a romantic, Leo.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
Paris. It's
Long
Paris,
outside
the sunset over there. Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful night in Paris.
So
It's
I don't know if this makes me want to upload more photos or fewer photos. Like I'm kind of on
Oh,
the
more.
fence about it.
Oh, more. Because now it's going to find your best photos. It's going to fix
Yeah.
your photos. It's going to understand what your photos are. Now, when you start clicking all day long,
And
you're
it's
going to
gonna
have
a
access to your
window-
photos.
It's gonna have a window into my brain. It'll know exactly what I think
It
is valuable enough to snap a
already
picture.
does.
It already does. I should just give up. It's got a window in my brain just based on my search.
I,
my
for
search
one,
terms.
welcome my new brain.
I do too. You know, when you get old, you welcome anything that can help you remember stuff. Jeez.
Like, yeah.
That is who found it? Did Google announce that or did somebody just find it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this was an announcement. I cheated and I left this out of the changelog because I wanted to use it as my tip. They announced it this week,
That is so neat.
Thursday.
All right. Number of the week, Mr. Jarvis.
Well, we got a lot of choices. I'm going to skip the Mary Meeker has her annual PowerPoint porn, but I'll skip that because it's full of numbers. I'm going to an event tonight Amazon is holding. They've sold 5 million Kindle singles. I find that vaguely interesting.
Wow.
A few of them are mine.
A few of them are yours.
A few of them are mine. And then also Kickstarter just has a new project up called the ARKID. $1 million goal to put up a space telescope with $164,000 raised already.
Oh, let the government do it. What do we need to do that for?
I know.
Is $1 million enough, really? Oh, wait a
That's
minute.
what I
There's a
wondered,
scientist. He's wearing a lab coat, so it must be true.
He can't hear you. He
And
has
apparently
stuff in his
protective goggles.
ear. Whoa.
Now a physician.
Listen, the Dr.
Same
Wade
guy.
for, lab-
It's some guy. I wish to build a space. It's got a Nexus 7.
Yeah, you can get your picture. You can send your picture to it and get a picture back of you with your picture in space. That's the
I don't know if this is a good idea.
The idea they're saying is for students. That this opens this up. It opens up the satellite open source for students.
Okay.
What's the resolution? Do we know? Yeah, I'm
I don't
gonna.
know.
Listen, I feel better about backing this than Zach Braff's new movie.
Well, that's true. That's true. I'll go for you on that.
Kickstarter, actually, the amount pledged actually updates live on Kickstarter. I didn't know that. Cool.
Oh yeah, it does. Oh yeah.
We could have
That's
these
new.
people.
That didn't used to do that. So it's clicking over like.
Here's the staff that will be running the telescope.
Oh, yeah.
They look very
She's like
official.
8. That's good. And apparently they couldn't afford monitors on those desks, so they've got a printer strapped to it, and nothing at all on comm. She's reading a notebook. Okay, this is a little bare bones. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
A
it is.
million does seem low.
I don't know how you
it's a
can do
little
that for $1
thing.
million. The gas alone.
Well, you're probably putting it up on something else.
So my tip is, remember, I really want to use this HTC One, but the no replaceable battery means I got to get it through the day. It's hard to do, especially when something's got a great screen and you want to use it and take pictures all the time. XDA Developers, a great resource for anybody who uses Android, has a battery savings tip page that actually I found useful for any Android device. Things like, for instance, turn off the auto sync on the Facebook app. Set the auto refresh interval to never for massive battery savings, because Facebook's always downloading crap. A number of settings that you might want to do, disabling apps. A couple of really good apps. One called Greenify that lets you force apps to sleep. Apps that would otherwise be running in the background, downing stuff all the time. Greenify is a very cool app. I already mentioned Lux, which is a much better than the normal auto brightness settings. Really lets you control it in a granular way. And here's a really great app that I installed. Now, my question always with these apps, and I should warn you, if this, you don't get great results, and maybe you should take this app off, is that can you monitor battery life without killing battery life? Task switchers for a long time were one of the biggest problems on Android phones because they were eating all these CPU cycles. But this is really an interesting battery monitor. It used to be called Badass Battery Monitor. They changed the name to GSAM Battery Monitor so we could say it on the show. And it's free, and it installs, there may be a pro version. Yeah, there is, $1.99 for the pro version. But it really does a great job of monitoring more than the stuff that you get from what I used to think was awesome, the settings, power information. Now I get a very accurate, based on previous results, timer, 62% left. That means I'm going to get 13 hours and 45 minutes. When I did these, by the way, all of these settings, I've now gotten 15 or 16 hours out of this phone. It more than doubled the battery life on the phone. You can drill down. So I now know, because on the HTC One, this information's hidden, 7.6% screen time, but I can even see which brightness levels used how much battery life. Screen was on 14 minutes, 18 seconds, and 91% of the brightness was used, of the power was used in light brightness. So there's all these little granular details. Bluetooth app usage. I can drill down to see which apps used how much battery life, and further drill within it. So, you often get information about, an app like Kernel. Kernel used 23%. Well, here's the processes that we're running. If you're a geek, this is a great little app. It's GSAM Battery Monitor. There's a free version. I paid $1.99 for the Pro. It also lets you change the battery icon and things like that. But mostly, I think the stats are useful, particularly if you're trying to optimize your phone for better battery life. XDA Developers had a very good article about the One, but I would imagine many phones with battery problems, they'll have similar articles on things you can do. If you're just using an Android phone in general, just read the one about the HTC One, because most of the tips apply to every kind of Android phone. And it more than doubled it, which is amazing. Nice. Yeah, basically, you take all the fun out of the phone, and it works a long time. I had to give up a few things, but not a lot.
Soon they'll make one that you can flip open, which will be really cool.
I want one with an extensible antenna, so they'll always have good reception.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll carry the battery on my pocket, or maybe over my shoulder on a strap. Then we'll be good. Then we'll be happy. All right, everybody, that's about it for This Week in Google. Thank you, Gina Trapani. So nice to have you back. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you so much. Great to be back.
And, of course, Jeff Jarvis. Buzzmachine.com is his blog. You can read his book. It's right behind him. It's called Public Parts.
I actually spilled water on the desk.
He's drying it out.
Some things drying out up there, yeah.
Public Parts. It's a little moist right now.
Yes, it is.
I was like, that's such clever promotion.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
I could reach behind me as I spilled this water.
Gina's got two great apps. The Think Up app, which is a wonderful app for kind of interpreting your Twitter tweets and information. It's thinkup.com, and of course To Do Text, which is a really good to-do manager for iOS and Android and desktop. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. We do This Week in Google at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 2100 UTC on Wednesdays. Please stop by and watch us live. We even had a nice live studio audience, of which only one member is female after the other two left. We also encourage you to watch After the Fact on demand, available at twit.tv/twig. What, Gina?
As if my fault.
No, you brought up point of view porn. It's okay. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. No, they left because they had other engagements. And there's not many people that could sit here for 2 hours and listen to this crap. Only you, my
we barely
friends.
can.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on This Week in Google.